Welcome to another episode of Hair Biz Radio with your host Zakiyrah and
Mikey. You didn't think I'd do it, did you? I got him, guys. I got him. That's my new intro.
Get Mikey.
Somebody come get me.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, welcome to Hair Biz Radio, where Blatt is the new Mikey.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So today we are going to talk about reasons why people have not started their hair business. I think it's important, though, to talk about this because a lot of people need to hear it. Like, some people don't think that they can do things, and they really just need to hear people say what they're thinking in their head so that, you know, they have some reassurance that it can be done.
I agree, but what Zakiyrah doesn't know is I would like to say thanks to a few people. Okay. These are reviews on our Apple Podcasts. Color Boss, super helpful. I love the fact, Mikey, I didn't even know it was about me. I love the fact that Mikey takes time out of his day to actually teach us the ins and outs of the hair business. So far, I've learned a lot.
Is this for the podcast?
This is for the podcast.
Okay.
BB Joe, so much information. It's refreshing to get information in full that you can really do something. Most appreciated. Keep it going. I mean, it just goes on and on. So I just want to say special thank you to everybody that's left a review, that's left a comment on our YouTube channel of one of the podcast episodes.
Yeah.
I just go through these and I'm like, wow. I mean, it's like 5-star review after 5-star. It's like, this is, very good information from the lovely Mikey and Zakiyrah. Love hearing that. Shell. It's rewarding.
Yeah. I think that this podcast, a lot of people do things just for the money. Like, a lot of people.
We have no sponsors, by the way, so I'm not saying we wouldn't take any,
when you say that, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, we make $0 from this. This is our time dedicated to help people.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the things that people love about working with private label in general, myself, is that we don't mind helping. Like, we don't mind sharing. Like, nothing is really a big secret. It's like, you need a platform to use for this. Here's what we use, or here's something that's comparable that would be great for you, or, these are the steps you should take, not trying to hold on to information and not share it. So I think people appreciate that about, private label.
Yeah, I think so. And some people hate it because other people are trying to charge for like this basic, not saying it's all basic information, but just for like, with like the hair vendor list scandal thing that goes through the hair industry and all this mess. So it's just like, oh God, please. But anyways, let's talk about why people aren't starting their hair business.
Yeah. And so this can actually go to really any business, but because we are a podcast and we talk about hair, we are going to talk about it within the hair industry.
Okay.
So what is like the top thing that you think is the reason why people don't get started?
I think probably the top reason is probably finances.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Actually, I would say the very first thing is probably mindset.
Okay.
Yeah, and then finances. So, like, when you think about mindset, a lot of people experience this thing called imposter syndrome. And some people don't understand or know what it is, but it's basically like a place where you self-doubt yourself about a lot of stuff. Like, you may think you're a fraud, or you may think that your accomplishments don't matter, or that you can't do something. And so a lot of people deal with imposter syndrome because they see all of these big people accomplishing all these things, and it's like, but could I ever do that? Or it's like, I'm not too knowledgeable about this, or I don't have this, or I don't look like this, or I don't have these people. And it's like, when you feed your mind so much stuff that you can't do something, you won't be able to do it. But when you take away the imposter syndrome and it's like, okay, I can do this. It's tangible. I'm seeing people do it. Like, there are a ton of hair brands out there, some that are successful, some that aren't as successful. But you can do it. If you literally stop and say, I can do this, you'll be able to do it, especially when you put the work behind the verbiage that you can do it. So I think imposter syndrome mindset is like the first thing that holds people back from actually starting something.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
which would lead into then people like, I ain't got no money to start this hair business. What the hell's going on here?
Better have my money.
But, really, I broke it down. I actually have a video that we spent a lot of time on. It's on the Hair Business Blueprint YouTube channel. It's how to start a hair business for $100 or less. I think that's the title. You can look it up.
So what if I don't have $100?
Then you shouldn't start a business. If you don't have at least $100, you probably that's like the bare minimum. But it talks about, I break it down of like, okay, this is the free, like this is what stuff you have to pay for.
Yeah.
There's no getting around this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, this is the thing. These are optional. These are kind of like, upgrades, cost this. And then, you kind of have the bigger upgrades.
Yeah.
The video is doing really well online. I think it's helping a lot of people. And I just kind of walk you through step by step. And people are like, wow, someone's actually giving me like the real information.
Yeah.
And it's kind of walking you through, no fluff. But, you can start it for, I always say you can start it for virtually nothing, but you're going to have to put in a tremendous amount of work. So there's that balance, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you can start something, like we can start something a little bit easier now because we have the money to be able to pay for certain things.
Yeah.
Where it's not 100% like, all right, guys, we have no money.
Yeah.
We're going to do this, and everybody's going to be working nonstop to try to push it through to get that first little bit of revenue, to get it even and stuff. So having a little bit of money helps. And then make sure you just don't spend that money once you make it on stupid stuff, which is we've seen time and time again.
Yeah, you got to reinvest into the business.
For sure.
Yeah. I think another thing that stops people is the thought that I don't have a team or I don't have other people who are willing to do this with me. And you can literally start a business by yourself. It may be hard, but especially like you said, virtual or online hair business store, you can do it on your own. Like you don't need someone to run the business, especially if, it's new, it's your business. You'll need to spend time on it, but you don't need a whole team. Like you don't need a army of people to get started with the business.
Yeah, especially online.
Right.
Especially with dropshipping. Dropshipping, if you're just getting started, you don't have the funds. Dropshipping is amazing for hair industry.
Yep.
Even more so than a lot of other industries that do drop shipping, because like with us, we allowed to do the branding with this, with the item. So it's different than like these widgets that come by e-packet from China that take 3 weeks. And it's like, you got this one size and all of a sudden it doesn't even go over your shoulders, kind of BS.
One thing though, I do like that dropship bundles, dropship beauty is different. Like you said, from other drop shippers, even like clothing vendors. They don't allow you to send your custom packaging.
Oh,
no. So that's something that kind of sets private label apart, because it's like sometimes you do want your pretty packaging. You want, the boxes, you want the labels and everything. And you don't want it to just be a standard package from China. So it's it kind of makes people more interested and prone to go with the drop shipping.
Yeah, and it's that experience when the customer gets it. That's why we make the branding affordable, easy, everything set up is we want your clients to have an experience when we send something to them, and a good experience.
Yeah.
So that's really key. It's just, I think that whole connect with drop shipping for just getting started, because you don't, you probably have a full-time job. You can run it at night. You don't worry your packages are still going out during the day. Yeah. It's super helpful.
I love drop shipping.
Yeah. So another reason why people don't start is they don't have a hair vendor.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a good one there. I think I know somebody.
Oh, yeah. People get overwhelmed with looking for a vendor online.
And if you're spending your money on a hair vendor list and then you come to me and be like, oh, I spent all my money on my hair vendor list, I am done with you.
We're probably on the hair vendor list.
Actually, never mind. But if you found us private label on there, we probably, if we're not, tell them, hey, you forgot private label. That's fine. But yeah, but you know what? There's tons of vendors out there.
Yeah.
Some might work better for you than us. I think what's funny is when was it? End of 2019, with my team in China, and I was working on a bunch of stuff. And, that's when I came up with that concept for private label wholesale.
Oh, yeah.
And I came back and I was like, guys, guess what? Actually, I think I started working on it from China.
Yeah.
And the internet was so slow. I was like, you guys need to help me with this because, like me and slow internet, we don't get along because I'm trying to get this stuff done. But that setting up private label wholesale, and once I can get back over there, it's going to be game over.
Yeah.
Like it really matched all the benefits of working with like a team in China and the benefits of working with a team in the USA, like USA-based customer service. If you want to return something, you just send it back to our Atlanta showroom, where it's like, you order stuff from a vendor in China. It's like, oh yeah, you can return it. You're like, I'm not sending it. How am I going to get this back to damn China?
Yeah.
Stuck in customs for 3 weeks now and all this other mess. You can go on, you're not sending messages via WeChat, WhatsApp. It's like, you're going online, you're paying with your normal credit card. It's a Shopify built website. Yeah. You're comfortable, but the pricing is still amazing. Yeah. So I think the wholesale hair vendor is, it's tough, people finding it. But, hey, I always say, try some other people. And usually it's the people when they get burned by trying someone else.
Yeah, they are.
And then they're just like, we get 100 times better. So people are like, why is he saying try other hair vendors? Because trust me, I know the game that they play. You order some stuff, some samples. It's all nice. And then you place a big order and it's all junk. And you're just like, oops. Nah, not playing that game.
That's hilarious. I think another reason why people don't start is because they don't know how to use the internet. And when I say that, I mean like they don't know how to build a website. They don't even know where to start with getting a domain name. Like they don't know how to set up social media accounts. Some people don't. Some people just get overwhelmed with the thought of it's just too much.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. But of course, private label offers websites too. So literally there's so many different resources for you to build a website. Like even if you wanted to try to do it on your own, like Shopify has the free themes you can use if you just wanted something really basic. If you wanted to pay someone to do the website, there's just so many different resources that you have to build a website if you're looking at tutorials or whatever that may be.
And I also think we have some step-by-step getting your hair business started on hairuniversity.com.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of free, and it's free. Mm-hmm. Just said, hey, this is what you're going to need, and whether you work with private label or not, it's okay. We just want to help people get started.
Yeah,
and it's just that good karma we got. We got lots of karma, guys. We're the karma champions in the hair industry. I'm trying to stay that way.
Yep.
So that's really key. The technical part is something that I see a lot of people struggle with. And that's why, like in my Hair Business Masterclass, shameless but not shameless plug, hairbusinessmasterclass.com. I'm creating these video tutorials, and they're good, Zakiyrah. Like they are good. I'm recording them. I have my guy. I taught him how to edit like some of the basic in and outs. He knows how to edit video, but for tutorials, it's a little different game for editing. And these things are really nice videos showing you step by step by step.
The quality is bananas.
Quality, our quality game for video has just hit sorry, we had to look over
Shout
at our
out
video.
to Dowie.
Yeah, I had to look at our video guy, so he's helped step up the game. He's like, Mikey, we need this. I'm like, Dowie, that's 20 G's, son. No, but we try to have some good equipment and stuff because who wants to if sound is bad and video is bad, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, we started there because we didn't have any money to buy any of the nice stuff.
True.
So we kind of, as we grow, like everything else, continue to grow. So I think some reasons why people don't start a hair business is because they feel like you have to have a big social media following.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to my Instagram, follow or not, at Moran Mikey on Instagram.
But follow.
At the time of this, I still don't even have 2,000 followers. But we got stores across the U.S.
But you're making money. That's the thing.
Yeah, but, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to worry about if you don't have a huge following.
A huge following, yep.
And always remember with social media, everyone starts from zero. But what do you think? Have you noticed how hard it is to grow your following these days? Like, people just don't follow anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy. I posted this reel and I got like over 600,000 views on it and over like 2,000 followers. And I think it's the type of content. Like if you're consistent, one, but two, find like that sweet spot that people actually want to see. Like you can build that way. But there's something funky going on with Instagram to where it's very harder to to get like that following.
How long you been on Instagram?
I don't even remember, but it's been a very long time.
Long time. And this was the first thing you had a breakout video. So it probably is like, right? Like first time something 600,000 views.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a breakout, you know? So it's like, it took you've probably been on Instagram 6-7 years at least.
Yeah.
You know, I know I've been on it at least since probably 2012. It's like 8-9 years now. Yeah. IG's been around a while. So it took that long to get something that grew your following 20%. You know, like private label, we spend a fortune on ads and all this other kind of stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it's been going up, you know, we're over 50,000 and, you know, but it's going to take a while to grow. It's not like in 2013, 14, 15, people were just following everybody.
I think I got on in 2015. Yeah.
Really that late?
I think so,
Get a little late to the game. But now people are a little stingy with their follows. They're like, I don't want to follow this. And then, you know, you can see who's following what.
I know I am. I don't like following everyone and everything just because sometimes I don't want to see what people are putting out.
I know. It's not always good.
Yeah. So another reason why people don't start their hair business is because they feel like the industry is way too saturated.
Right.
And we talk about this a lot. We just talked about this last episode too, but I'll use the same example, or maybe it was a masterclass. Yeah. But I'll use the same example. It's just like when you walk into the store and you see all these wine bottles, there's so many different companies that offer wine and people still buy them. Like they still buy wine no matter how many different companies there are. So you have to have that mindset. And then also thinking the hair industry, I'm sure it's a lot more now, but it's between a $15 and $20 billion industry. So for you to start a business in that arena, I mean, you can do a lot with that.
And there's not one of these hair companies that is just has the whole market.
Yeah.
You know, so that part is just a huge advantage for you to get into the industry. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. But so with that information, it's like, don't worry about, you know, the market being oversaturated. Just start something.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times too, people don't get in the industry because they don't feel like they can get like the right resources for the education.
Yeah.
And just, you know, from stuff we put out, listen to this podcast, go back and listen to the old episodes, go to Hair University, take the free courses. Just hang out in the Start a Hair Extension Business Group on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just hang out there and see some of the posts and the information that goes through. Go through the old posts.
Yeah.
There's like years and years and years of information and posts in that group. So there's still this tons of information. Just make sure that you educate yourself a little bit, I think is going to be, you know, important. Or, you know, people don't feel like they have the time, which I understand. That's where like being smart about with your time management, have your to-do list. I think we talked about this in a couple of previous episodes of like productivity, keeping on track, because you can get it started. It is going to take time. And usually it's that first initial thing to get the whole thing set up. But just if you're consistent working on it an hour a day, you can make a big difference.
Oh, for sure. So I think all of these reasons are reasons why people don't get started. But I think why you should get started is because a lot of people are at a place now where they want to leave a legacy. They want to build a business. Regardless if you're still, you know, working full time, you can do this on the side. It doesn't have to be like this humongous empire that you're building. But I think that you should get started because you had a thought and you wanted to do it. And all the reasons why you're not getting started aren't valid. Like we just gave you all the data points for why this can work. So just get started.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if this is your first business, the first one you ever try, it's a good chance it's going to fail.
Yeah.
But guess what? You have to get through those failures to get to the success.
Yeah.
Right? I had plenty of businesses fail before this. The only reason why this business became not the only reason, but a reason why this business became successful is because I failed a lot in other businesses, which allowed me to learn and grow and push kind of my thought process and everything else to now be successful.
And then you mentioned the like resources and knowledge. Learn from other hair businesses, like do a competitive analysis, see what other businesses you want your business to be like listen to the podcast, get into the Start a Hair Business group, because you're going to hear from people who are struggling in the business now. You can learn from those people. You're going to hear about how private label extensions started and, you know, the struggles, the obstacles, the failures, and all of that. And so learn from those. That way you don't go and make the same mistakes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's key and it's because of how fast you can move. So the faster you move, the less mistakes you make. But when you make a mistake, just don't think of it necessarily as a mistake. Think of it as a learning opportunity.
Yep, a lesson.
Yeah, it's a lesson for sure.
I love it. I love that at the beginning of the podcast, you went through and read some comments. So I actually want to do that every podcast.
Yeah. So look, we want to read some of the new reviews. So it'd be amazing if you left a review right now. I know it takes a couple minutes of your time, but we really do appreciate it. It really helps the podcast. So, you know, the next episodes, we're going to check out these reviews and read them on the next podcast.
Yep. So to do that, make sure you like, subscribe, comment on all the podcast, Apple, Stitcher, Shopify, Spotify. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment and subscribe as well if you're not already subscribed. But thank you guys for tuning in to this episode, and make sure you go get started with your hair business.
That's it. Bye.